Hello and welcome back to another video. This week I'm going to be sharing some gluten-free, dairy-free, and egg-free options that you can have for breakfast. I remember at the beginning of my health journey when I was sensitive to gluten, dairy, and egg, that was the hardest meal was breakfast. I feel like breakfast was a really hard one to figure out what I could eat. So I'm going to share some options with you throughout the week, and today is day one, so let's make breakfast. Okay, so before I get started, I wanted to share with you just some tips for breakfast. So if you don't know, I am currently in school to become a nutritional therapy practitioner. So I've been learning a lot about nutrition and just like our body and different signs and symptoms that our body can show us and tell us when things are off. So one thing that's really important is balanced meals, and especially a good balanced breakfast. So if we include protein and fats specifically in our breakfast, that can really help balance out our blood sugar levels throughout the day. So a lot of people will have coffee on an empty stomach. Maybe they're running out the door. They're kind of busy in the morning. Maybe they have like a high carb breakfast, some sort of bar or granola, maybe cereal, pancakes, something like that, something that's high in sugar and high in carbohydrates. And what that does is spikes our blood sugar. So our blood sugar will spike from the caffeine, the sugar, the carbs, and then our pancreas has to pump out all this insulin to try and bring our blood sugar back down to like a normal range. But oftentimes our body is trying to kind of overcorrect. So it pumps out all this insulin to get your blood sugar down, and it goes too far down. And that's where most people will feel that like mid-morning crash and like want another cup of coffee or want another sugary snack. You might kind of feel either shaky, maybe you're hangry, you've got like a slump of energy because your blood sugar's gone too far down from all the insulin that your body was trying to pump out to get your blood sugar back down. So all of that to say, having a breakfast and meals in general that have healthy fats and a good source of protein in them can help balance out that blood sugar. So eating a balanced meal is if you have a protein, a fat, and a carb together in a meal. So it's okay to have carbs. Ideally, we would eat them in the form of like fruits and vegetables, because fruits and vegetables are carbohydrates. So without further ado, let's make breakfast. Okay, so breakfast is served. Oops. So I'm gonna go through all the brands and all the different things I used. So for the ham and cheese toast, I used Applegate ham. Applegate's pretty popular. I feel like you can get this at Kroger, Publix, Whole Foods, any health food store. So I got some Applegate ham. For the dairy-free cheese, this is Violife. This is their mature cheddar slices, I think, and then I've also used their sharp cheddar slices, and I like both equally. They're both very good. So they were out of the sharp cheddar one, so I bought this one. This one's my favorite. It melts really well. I do not eat this plain as is. I always make sure that I melt it. So even if I'm using this for like a lunch sandwich, I will do something very similar to where I toast the ham and the cheese. And then I'll do a second layer of bread with like lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, or like whatever, type of sandwich I'm making if I'm using it for lunch. But I always melt this regardless. I feel like, I've never tried it without melting it, but it's kind of stiff. I feel like it's definitely works best when it's melted. So that's my 2 cents on that cheese. And then for bread, this is Simple Needs gluten-free sourdough bread. So this has water, millet flour, sorghum flour, teff flour, buckwheat flour, quinoa flour, psyllium seed husk powder, sunflower seed oil, expeller pressed, raisin juice concentrate, flaxseed meal, sea salt, and sunflower seeds. So that is a pretty good ingredient list that I can get behind. Some flours are naturally gluten-free, so like the buckwheat flour and different flours, whereas some other gluten-free breads are like potato starch and, you know, different ingredients that are made to create bread, but this one's actually got some flours that are natural flours. They're just gluten-free naturally. So I get this one from Earth Fare, which is my local health food store, but I know that you can go onto Simple Needs website, and it's spelled needs like you're kneading bread, so K-N-E-A-D-S, so Simple Needs. And you can go on their website, and I believe you can get this shipped to you if like Whole Foods or Earth Fare or like your local health food store doesn't sell it. I think they'll ship it to you. Next up was my coffee. So I use Elmhurst oat milk. I have been nut-free for the past couple years besides coconut. So I would love to use like an almond milk, cashew milk. Those do not spike your blood sugar as high. Oat milk definitely can. So I just always make sure that when I'm drinking coffee, I drink it with my breakfast that is already high in protein and fat to kind of balance out the oat milk a bit. And then sometimes I'll also add collagen into my coffee again to add more protein, balance out that blood sugar spike. So I like Elmhurst the best because it doesn't use any inflammatory industrialized seed oils. So this one is oat milk and hemp cream, and it's that hemp cream that I think makes it really thick and really good. I'm a big stickler for ingredient lists, so that's really all I ever look at when I'm choosing brands. It's like how short of an ingredient list it has, and then also can I pronounce everything on it? Do I know what it is? Do I know what natural food source it's coming from, or is it something synthetic? So as much whole foods as you can get, the better. Your body knows how to recognize and digest actual normal whole food ingredients. Your body has no idea what to do with a lot of the synthetic stuff that is now in our food these days. Your body doesn't know what the heck to do with it. Next up, I have talked about this before, Coco June coconut yogurt. So this is dairy free. This one's my favorite. Again, I get this at my local health food store. You can also go onto Coco June's website and even Elmhurst, and most places will have a like find in store search on their website, and you can see where they sell it near you. Elmhurst will also ship products to you. If you go on their website, you can get some of this stuff shipped. Not sure if Coco June ships, but I know that they have like a store locator, I believe, on their website. And then, yeah, so I just added blueberries and a little bit of honey to my yogurt. So this is a healthy fat. So this is my healthy fat. And then I've got, you've got some carbs with your bread, and then you've got some protein in the meat. I have noticed that whenever I have a good yogurt or some sort of fat in my diet, especially for breakfast, it lasts me to lunchtime and I never get hungry. So fats are like the king of keeping you fuller for longer. You want those fats in there. So if you're someone who always gets hungry and you always have to snack and your meals just like never satiate you and you're not staying full for very long, add some fats into your diet and I guarantee you will see a difference. So I already had a protein shake this morning when I worked out. So normally I would do a little bit of extra protein, like some sausage links, but like I said, I already had a protein shake this morning, so this should be good. Just these 3 to 4 slices of ham on this should be good protein for me. But again, everyone's different. So just play around with it, see what keeps you fuller for longer. But this is breakfast number 1. Okay, good morning. It is morning number 2, breakfast number 2. Today I was kind of feeling something fruity and sweet for breakfast, so I'm gonna make a smoothie. The biggest thing with this though is that I'm still going to try and have a source of protein and fat along with the fruit so that it's not just like a sugar spike. And then we've also made some Applegate sausage to add in some more protein to kind of have on the side. So for this smoothie, I'm kind of going for like a peaches and cream type smoothie. So I have frozen peach slices and then organic coconut milk, and I'm going to like scoop off the fat portion. If you've ever used like canned coconut milk, you know how it kind of separates into like the liquid versus like the full fat. And so I'm gonna scoop out full fat from the coconut milk. I'm going to do like maybe a tablespoon or 2 of orange juice. And then for protein, I'm going to add some collagen. So this is the Vital Proteins collagen. And then for added minerals, I'm going to add Relight's unflavored electrolyte mix. So this is typically kind of salty because it's got sea salt in it. But normally if you add salt to something, it can kind of enhance the natural sweetness. So I will put this in even like my chocolate protein shakes or even like chocolatey things, and it'll kind of enhance like the natural flavor and the natural sweetness of it. So I'm going to put some of that in there as well. So like I said earlier, you've got coconut milk for a fat, you've got the collagen for some added protein, and then your peaches and a little bit of orange juice are carbs. So let's make our smoothie. Like I said, I'm also going to eat some sausage too, just for more protein. So I already have some Applegate sausage prepped. If you have vanilla protein powder, that would also go really well in this type of smoothie. I don't have any vanilla right now. I have chocolate and strawberry, but you could also add a protein powder into this to just make it a little bit more filling and keep you fuller for longer. So that's breakfast number 2. For the next breakfast, I'm going to be making like a yogurt protein bowl. So I'm going to use my Coco June coconut yogurt. This is their vanilla unsweetened one. And then I'm going to use a scoop of my chocolate protein powder. And then I'm also going to add in some chia seeds and some flaxseed. Normally I do about 2 tablespoons of chia seeds and 2 tablespoons of the flaxseed meal. And both of those are just good sources of omega-3 fatty acids. So I like to add in those. And then they also add like a nice little crunch to it. And it's actually better for your digestion if you do chew your food. And it can kind of stimulate your whole digestive tract if you do chew. So I do typically try to add something whenever I have like yogurt, whether it's fruit or like chia seeds or something that kind of makes you chew. So I'm gonna go ahead and make that. Okay, so I would say that was about a cup of yogurt, a full scoop of protein powder, and then 2 tablespoons of chia seeds and 2 tablespoons of flaxseed. You've still got your fat and your protein in this. And then if you add like a side of fruit or a smoothie, kind of thinking I might do another smoothie this morning, but this is the main one I wanted to show y'all. For this next breakfast, I wanted to do a variation of the same chocolate protein yogurt bowl that I made a couple days ago, but I wanted to show you a fruity version. So I'm still going to use the same coconut yogurt. Then instead of the chocolate protein, I'm going to use a strawberry protein. And then I'm going to keep the same chia seeds and flaxseed. And then I'm going to add on some pumpkin seeds. And then I'm also going to add on some blueberries and raspberries. So I'm going to make a fruity version of the protein yogurt bowl this morning. So last night I started making chia seed pudding. So chia seed pudding usually sits overnight, which is what you saw last night, was that I made this last night. So this is the base for chia seed pudding. So it was 1 can of coconut milk, half a cup of chia seeds, 2 tablespoons maple syrup, and a half teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then you just let that sit overnight. But what I'm gonna do this morning is actually make a blueberry sauce that's going to go on top of this. And I will not eat like this whole bowl. And a lot of people make chia seed pudding, and they'll split it up into like little mason jars, and they'll make like maybe 3 or 4 mornings worth of chia seed pudding. So I probably will not eat all of this today, but I am going to make a blueberry sauce to put on top of it like I said. So for that you need 1.5 cups of frozen blueberries and then just 2 tablespoons of water. And you're gonna put the water and the frozen blueberries in a pan on the stove, and you let that heat up for about 3 to 5 minutes. And then once the blueberries start to heat up, they'll kind of start to burst. And then you just mash them with a fork, and then you'll bring it down to a simmer and let the mashed up blueberries with the water kind of simmer for about 10 minutes. And then you've got a sauce. So it's super easy. So I'm gonna go ahead and start making the blueberry sauce. There you have it. So the blueberry coconut chia seed pudding. I used 2 different recipes for this. So I used one recipe to make the base of the chia seed pudding, and then I used a second recipe for the blueberry sauce. So I'll link both of those. They're both from Pinterest, and there are thousands and thousands of chia seed pudding recipes on Pinterest. There are lots of options when it comes to chia seed pudding, and then you can also top this with like more blueberries, raspberries, more fruit. The blueberry sauce recipe that I used, this is all that it like boiled down to. So it made enough for like 1 round of topping, I feel like. So in the future, I would probably like double or triple that recipe, because I've still got a lot of chia seed pudding left over for like tomorrow's breakfast and even probably the next day. I feel like this is like 3 servings as far as the actual base of the chia seed pudding goes. So then I'd probably triple the blueberry sauce recipe, so it would make 3 servings. So that's just how it ended up working out for me, but this is the final gluten-free, dairy-free breakfast.